just before we ask about what ended your game early, whatever you can share, that walk down the hallway with Mark before Game 6.
Yeah, it was just a devastating day. I mean, Scheifele's my best friend, and we've been close for a long time. Obviously, as a result, become very close to the family, and specifically Brad, and spend a lot of time with him and Mark, and whether it's dad's trips or things like that, golf in the summer, and it was just devastating. I mean, we knew behind the scenes, obviously, a little bit what was going on, but nobody really saw that coming, and I think it was just, your heart goes out for your friend. Unfortunately, I've been through it with my dad, and every situation's a little bit different, but just a flood of emotion. Just like I said, heart going out to them and Scheif, and what he was able to do mentally to play that game and play as well as he did, and obviously score that goal. I'm sure it's inspiring to me as his best friend, but I think so many people out there probably, I know for sure, would be inspired by that and that courage he showed, and that was for his dad. So it was just watching him out there. I mean, even in the warm-up, we do some little things together, and felt like I was fighting back tears just because it makes you think about Brad and obviously just the whole thing. So it was tough, but beyond inspiring by Mark, and I know everyone knows how proud Brad would have been watching him play. And even before the game, my mom texted me, and I think she shared it with Mary Lou, but Mark and I talked about it, that our dads and Casey's dad would be up there, having their drink of choice and watching the game. So it was a lot of emotion for sure, and like I said, just heart goes out to the family, and miss Brad. What an incredible person.
You had to go through a situation where you had a very tough decision to make about playing hockey when your dad was going through what he was going through. What did you feel that you were able to provide for Scheif based on the tough learning lessons you had?
Well, I think just going through it, you just having somebody there. Sometimes you don't necessarily hear the words the person's saying when you're in that state, but just having people around you be there and show that support. And when we talked, I woke up in the morning, my phone was ringing, and went over to his room, and just throughout the day, just trying to be there for him, whatever he needs. That's all you can really do and say. And I think in my experience, he was there for me, and certainly do anything I can to be there for him. But it's until you lose your dad, especially when you're close with them, like Mark was and like I was, you don't really know how to handle it. And I think, just like I said, all you can do, and all I've said to Scheif is just, how proud he is of you, and how proud we all are of you, and we're with you and standing beside you. And like I said, whether, in each moment he's able to hear that, or he's going through what he's going through, just being there for him is all you can do, and that means the most.
Have you talked to him since he's gone home? If so, how is he doing?
Yeah, we've been talking. I mean, the one thing maybe I can give him some of my experience on is just sort of the different days, obviously, and the first day it happens, but I found personally going home and seeing loved ones was really tough. So we know that. I can't imagine how hard that's been. But just talking to him as much as we can periodically here to see how he's doing, and obviously going to the funeral this week to show him support.
If I remember correctly, he was one of a short list of guys that kind of knew the full extent of what you and your dad were going through. So, I mean, it's just a bond you would never really want to share with a guy in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, unfortunately, we both have lived that experience, and it's one that I mean, it was one of the toughest experiences have ever been through personally, and so I know how hard that is. And just throughout the last year and time when Brad was sick, just trying to show Mark that support, and just I think importantly, make sure he knows that, his friends are there for him, his teammates are there for him, and if he wants to talk about it, you're there, right? And so, it was tough. I'm grateful that in a way I had the experience, as tough as it was, to be able to support my friend. And unfortunately, we're part of the same. I think somebody texted me. We're part of the same club, which is not one you want to be a part of, but one that you can provide support to one another in, and share your experience. So,
A
John, one of
Dallas
your
fan
teammates-
started donations, $55 suggesting for number 55. What are your thoughts on someone doing that, and is Mark aware of that?
Yeah, I haven't asked him if he's aware of it, but I thought it was a very nice gesture. I mean, sports bring so many people together, whether you're on either side of a playoff matchup or any game during the season. It's unifying, and I think for it to happen like it did, and for Mark to be able to be able to go out there and play, I think, like I said, it's got to be inspiring for so many people. And highest stakes elimination game. I mean, it was just the internal strength that he had was to be able to go play that game is incredible. And I think the fact that people have been showing support, like I said, regardless of who they cheer for, I think that's what sport is all about.
You weren't able to be on the ice and kind of show for Mark the way that your teammates were able to when he came out of the box. Just, I know you would have been struggling with your own sorrow after being eliminated, but what were you needing to show him when he came off the ice?
Yeah, I mean, I met him in the hallway, and we shared a couple of moments. I know that going back to when my dad passed, for me, I feel fortunate that, I had some time after the season, and I feel bad that Mark doesn't have that opportunity. But, I just remember how hard that last game was, knowing that it was kind of the last one he'd be able to watch. And obviously, I couldn't imagine, I knew the emotion that was going to flood out of Mark when he came off the ice, and what he was probably holding back the entire day in game. So, like I said, just all you do is try and be there for your friend, and like he was for me. And it was a tough day.
Speaking of emotion, Josh, it was hard not to see the emotion on your face after you took the tumble with Mikko. It seemed, at least from a distance, that you knew right away.
Yeah, I basically knew kind of right away that wouldn't be able to, I was injured, and obviously felt something. So just frustration. I mean, looking back a couple years ago, I've knock on wood, but I've been fairly healthy through the regular season, and have a kind of a freak knee injury against Vegas a couple years ago, and then obviously this year just getting sick in the Four Nations, getting hurt in Game 7, and then having a freak injury in Game 6. I mean, it was just frustrating this year that those situations happen, but you can feel sorry for yourself or unlucky or whatever you want, but it is what it is, and just got to go back to work and continue to get better and prepare for next season and be ready for those moments when I get a chance to be in them again.
Did you dodge a bullet, or is it serious?
No surgery, just kind of best case, but I would have probably been out for the rest of the playoffs, most likely.
Can you share what caused you to have to leave early Game 7 as well, Josh?
Yeah, just a concussion protocol.
This was a knee ligament stretch, or?
Yeah, it was the left knee.
biggest difference in this team from and in the exit meeting mood maybe from last year to now?
Well, I think there's a lot to be proud of. There was a lot to be proud of last year, but the ending, the way it went, was obviously extremely disappointing. I think this year, the disappointment is still there, but we pushed obviously a great Dallas team to 6 in overtime, and I think all of us felt if we managed a way to get that to Game 7, that there's no way we weren't going to win that game at home. So at least that was our mindset. So I think for us, we had a great season. Things we talked about improving, we did improve on. We worked extremely hard last summer to do that, and through this entire year, we won an incredible Game 7, and obviously move forward. But I think the sentiment is that drive that we had after last season, when it didn't go our way, when we felt we needed to make some serious changes. I mean, we need to have that same attitude this summer in terms of pushing ourselves, and maybe even harder than we did last year. We saw the results of our hard work this season, and how that we got rewarded and improved. But to get to that next level of obviously ultimate goal, winning a Stanley Cup, we've got to continue to push to go to that next level. So
how much are you hoping Nicky Lewis will be back on this next season?
Yeah, obviously those things are out of my control, but certainly I've played with Nicky for 9 years now. He's a fantastic player, fantastic teammate, fantastic guy. I guess try not to think about those things too much, but certainly love playing with him, and hope he can be back.
Josh, how do you describe the impact that Scott Arniel had his first year as head coach?
Yeah, I mean, obviously to come in, us have the success we did early means that we had a good camp and we were prepared and ready to start the season. And then throughout the year, obviously to win, like I said, win President's Trophy and have the year we did. A ton of that falls on him, and I think the relationship a lot of guys had, especially the defensemen, but all the returning players from the last few years with him really helped. And I thought he just came in. We wanted to be pushed. We talked about that in exit meetings. We talked about that in the media, and he pushed us and found which buttons to press, but also what areas in our game could we tangibly improve. And I thought we did a great job of he did a great job of isolating those areas. So obviously, like I said, it was impressive by him, and hoping he comes away with Coach of the Year.